No, it's all right. It's not clickbait. We do have a huge announcement. No, we're not having another baby. No, we're not stopping traveling. No, we're not quitting YouTube. We'll get to the big announcement in a minute, but also in this video, we're going to go through with you guys, let you know what you can expect for the channel for the rest of 2025, what content we've got coming up, what we've been up to. We're also going to be letting you in on our 2026 travel plans, what we're going to be going and doing next year. There's some really exciting stuff in there. And also we're going to be answering your most burning questions. We put the call out on Instagram and we've gone through our messages and we're putting all those together into the one video so that we can give you guys a massive update, share a heap of stuff with you. We're going to give you an update on Starlink, we're going to give you an update on stone protection for caravans, a whole bunch more. Let's dive into it, but first, let's not drag this out. Let's dive into what is our exciting announcement. All right, a couple of months back, we said to you guys, save the date, 14th to the 16th of November, we're gonna go on a camp out together, and that is exactly what's gonna happen, and tickets are now on sale.
Yeah, that's right. So there's gonna be games, prizes, camping, fires, food, all those things are included in your ticket. We cannot wait to see you guys. I love the last Pioneer Party we had. So many people made so many new friends from that weekend, and they're all off traveling together, and they send us photos of them all hanging out, and oh my goodness, it's just so nice to see. We really just want to build this into one of the most amazing communities, because we know you're all out there, and imagine if we all got together and had a party.
If you'd like to grab yourself a ticket, there's a QR code on your screen right now. You can scan that with your phone and that'll take you to our website where you can grab your tickets there, or if you like to click on the link in the description below, you can also navigate to that same webpage from there. Over there you can grab your tickets. There's a heap more information, including frequently asked questions and all that sort of stuff as well.
Pioneer Party's on. Grab your tickets either from this QR code or over on our website or in the description below, and we'll see you guys there. Alright, so what's coming up content-wise on our channel? So I think last week we left you restocking in Weipa with the Caravan, and from there Simon had this really ambitious plan to get to Carumba via some very questionable roads. It was a mission, let's just put it that way, and I've never been so excited to see Carumba in my life. Then from there we headed through Outback Queensland. We had to hightail it through the Dinosaur Trail and places like that. It was just pretty much a whirlwind tour of Outback Queensland to get down to the snow, but it wasn't without challenges. We had some major issues with our airbags, and Simon's favourite game of running the red fuel light does come into play yet again, and I know a lot of you at home also love Will We Make It?
But all of that was to get ourselves down there to the Kosciuszko Snowy Mountains. We spent a couple of weeks down there in the Snowy Mountains having a ball with the kids, snowboarding, having a heap of fun, but we also got a couple of really wild blizzards coming through, got some incredibly wild weather and a bunch of snow down at camp, which was an awesome experience. We can't wait for you to share those videos with you. They're all coming out soon.
And now what we're in the midst of planning is a Darling River run. And I'm even scared to announce this because every time we do, the rains come and the roads close. I think this will be the 4th attempt at doing it. But we're going to do a Darling River run and then whip down to Porepunkah for our Pioneer Party.
We're also going to do a couple more videos about, we're going to give you guys a review of Cape York and how to tackle Cape York with a caravan, an update on Starlink and the Starlink Mini. You guys are loving those videos, and we've got some updates to bring to that, as well as our favourite campsites of 2025.
Another one coming up, which a lot of you are asking for, is the do's and don'ts. Like, would you do this again? Do you miss this? In terms of speccing a caravan and things like that. So, you know, power systems, dishwashers, all the like Corian benches, things like that. Was it worth it? Would we do it again? Kind of information that you can only really share after you've had a product for quite a while. So that's all coming up on the channel. Stick around, subscribe. We can't wait to have you on board, and that's what you can expect.
So lately, one of the questions we've been getting asked the most, and something that's a big issue as soon as anyone wants to go and tow anything off-road on gravel roads, especially high-speed gravel, it's stone protection. So for the past few years, we've always had a stone stomper that runs between our car and our caravan. It's specifically made for each vehicle and caravan combination. So the big downside for us is every time we get a new caravan, we have to get a new stone stomper as well, or if you change your tow vehicle, which we've also done over the last couple of years, you then also may find that that stone stomper doesn't fit. They're also quite expensive. They're around $1,000, I think, these days. And so we decided this year we were gonna try something different. The reason for that, apart from the cost and the inconvenience of having to get a new one each time, was just the amount of stones that I found impacted the underside of the Caravan. The stone stomper itself that runs across through here is very effective at keeping those stones down and stops them from hitting the front of the van or the trailer, and therefore does help significantly with that ricochet. But what it doesn't do is get rid of the stones altogether. They still get funneled under the Caravan, and I think because they are kept down, you actually get more stones funneling through underneath. So particularly around areas like the suspension arms and things like that, there's a lot of stone impact that occurs and a lot of damage that then therefore occurs over time. So I wanted to try something different. So this year we kept, or for the Cape trip this year, we kept our factory stone guard on. These are actually really effective at stopping a lot of stones hitting the front of the van, and the way that they're angled and designed is that the stones hit them, lose all their velocity, speed, whatever you want to call it, and then drop down to the ground. So they don't go back and hit the car, and they don't hit the Caravan at all. These I think are very worthwhile having, and with the additional flaps on the bottom as well, just helps to minimize the amount of stones that pass through this area. But then what we did to try and save the suspension arms and further back in the van is I installed a DIY install of this stone protection underneath here. So this is just a couple of extra mud flaps and a bit of aluminium angle that I bolted up through there. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to go and watch the video where I installed that and see how I did that. But the main idea behind that was to try and stop as many of those stones funneling through underneath the van and impacting mainly the suspension arms, but also further back. Now on top of that, the other thing we did to the front of the van is that we put PPF on the van. A lot of you guys would know that we're massive fans of PPF. We did a 3M PPF all over our car when we built it, and it's been one of the best decisions we ever made. We absolutely love it for peace of mind on the tow vehicle. And I thought we should put it on the front of the Caravan to help stop the stone impact there. Now, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there are a number of stone impacts, mainly in this section through here and up a little bit higher on the van as well, where the stones make it over the top of the factory stone guard here, and they come up off the rear tires and hit the van here. Now, while that's caused a significant amount of damage to the PPF, it looks as though none of those stones have gone through the PPF and damaged the vinyl underneath. And if you haven't seen our previous video, this green on our Caravan is a vinyl product as well. So we've almost got 2 layers of protection before you get to the actual fiberglass. So if that was ever taken off, eventually we'll take that PPF off, and underneath I reckon there'll be very little to no stone impact. So you might say, well then, isn't a stone stomper a better option to try and stop this? Yes and no. Even with a stone stomper on all my previous vehicles and all my previous Caravans, we've still seen some stone impact up here in these regions on the Caravan. It's probably not as much as we've had on this one, so the stone stomper definitely helps with that. But by not having the stone stomper and by having that additional stone protection underneath the van, the amount of stone impact that I can see on our suspension arms and other components under the van is significantly less than what I've seen on previous Caravans that we've had with just the stone stomper under there. One of those vans, our first Caravan, our Zone, also had these underbody mud flaps, and it still copped a massive amount of damage to those suspension arms. I'm starting to think of new ideas now as to a better way to protect this section of the van in particular. Titanium put these on here, which I think are a great idea. They're like a sacrificial panel. That's an aluminium powder coated panel, extremely tough and durable, and no stones have either impacted that, or the ones that have, there's no noticeable stone impact anyway. So whether maybe taking that right up here would be a good option, because the other thing is, once the stones hit this angled part of the van, the impact is nowhere near as severe, because it's not hitting it at a perpendicular angle, it's hitting at that sort of deflection angle, so they tend to just skip off. They do leave a mark on the PPF, but the impact up there is nowhere near as severe as just down here. I'm also interested to know if anyone's tried rock tamers. I've had a bit of a look at those, and I think, I don't know, I'm be keen to try them. There's a really 2 schools of thought there. A lot of people think they're amazing and wouldn't travel without them. There's a lot of people that say they're useless and don't do anything. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts if you've personally tried rock tamers, what you think of them. What I like about them is just the idea that it stops the stones at the source. You don't have to worry about any of this protection underbody, or much less so, because you're stopping the stone where it's coming off the vehicle's tyre. To me, that just makes a lot more sense than trying to deflect the stones or protect from the stones that are already airborne, stop them down there at the source. But anyway, let me know what you think, but that's our thoughts and our take so far on our experiment this year, being somewhat of the sacrificial lambs, giving something a crack and trying something different, just to have a bit of a go and see what other options might be out there when it comes to protecting your fairly sizable investment from stone impact. So another interesting question we got is, probably one more for Liz, is how do we go about skincare when we're out in the dust in the outback?
The biggest thing your skin's going to cop on the road is just exposure to outdoor elements. It's so different to working in an office or having a job where you put your skincare on, then you put your makeup on, you go, you come back, you cleanse. On the road, hardly anyone wears makeup, but you do still want to look nice in all your photos and things like that. So the best way to do that, in my opinion, is just have healthy, hydrated skin. I want to share with you what I've got, only because Simon's cousin makes this brand, and it's her baby, and it is just so bloody good. So this brand that I use is called SARA Skin, and this is 100% Sarah's business, so happy to give her a plug. It's not sponsored, it's not paid for. She probably won't ever even see this because the outdoors scares her. But so get yourself a good quality cleanser to just clear off all the dirt, grime, and sunscreen buildup that you're going to get on your skin, and then really just hydrate. So this is a mist, and it goes with your hydrochloric serum. You can tell how much I know about skincare, but those two go together because they work. This one works really well, but it only works if you've already got moisture. And then from there, this is the Eye Bright cream, and I often stay up very late watching Netflix, like till 1, 2 a.m. I have no self-control, and then the kids wake up at 6 and I look like I haven't slept, and then Simon's like, right, we're filming, and I'm like, ah! This is what I use to hide all the bags under my eyes. I think she should call this 8 hours of sleep. That is game changer if you have little kids. This one is the one to get. And then from there, just a really good quality moisturizer. This stuff, it is a small canister of moisturizer, but this lasts well over 6 months because it's just, you just need just a small amount of it. And then from there, this, if you've ever seen my skin and it like really is glowing, I put this on when we're filming because it's the Nourishing Oil Elixir. Just a drop of it, your skin looks beautiful. Happy days. I'm a redhead with freckles in the sun all the time. Trust me when I say I have tried many different types of sunscreens, some that are $300 and some that are $30. The ones that I go to, and this is the one that the whole family uses, is this Nadio for Men one. It just smells better than the women's one, and it's a 50+ face moisturizer as well. So this is just your everyday. I think it's about $30 from the pharmacy. This one is my favorite. And then my nicer one that I use is this O Cosmetics one, but my favorite, which is not as, this one or the Lyra one. The Lyra one's my most favorite, but it's so much harder to get because you have to go to a beautician to get it. This one you can order online. So those are my two favorites, and that's pretty much it. I think keep it simple, like just invest in good quality moisturizers, hydrate, drink water, sunscreen. It's best friend. And then you'll look glowy and happy in all the photos. Honestly, happiness is the thing that's going to radiate the most. So while I'm really happy with my skincare routine, and after 5 years of travel full-time, I've never been sunburnt, despite the amount of time we actually spend in the sun, what I do really struggle with is good hair care, and my hair always is just so dry. No matter what products I've used, I'm really struggling to find a good one that just works traveling, where your hair just doesn't look ratty and tired all the time. So if you've got hair care recommendations, please leave them in the comments below. Help us out. If you found something that works, let me know.
Something else we get asked all the time, constantly, is about Starlink and Starlink Mini in particular. So a couple of months ago, we did a video all about mounting Starlink Mini up on the roof of our cruiser and how we went about that, how we powered all of that. So if you want to go and check that video out, I'll leave a link in the description below. I'll put something just up here. You can jump over and watch that one after this video. But the number one question we get, something I forgot to mention in that video, is what's the range like? How practical is it having it on the car when you want to be using internet in the caravan or around the campsite? I've got to say, given that the router's mounted into the Starlink Mini, which is the biggest difference apart from its physical size to the other Starlink hardware options that are out there, is that the router's mounted into the dish itself, so you can't move it independently of the dish. Its range is really good. We've got a composite Caravan, so it's fiberglass foam sandwich composite, no metal in the frame. So I don't know if that makes a difference. I haven't tested it with a metal framed or a metal clad van, but in our composite fiberglass van, it's phenomenal how well the signal reaches in there. The car can be at least 30, 40, 50 meters from the Caravan, and we still get a brilliant signal in the van. Outside the van, it'd be even further than that again. Some of the other things we're really loving about having the Mini up on the roof of the car is that it's virtually on all the time. The power consumption's so low that we rarely ever turn it off, so we've got it with us all the time when we're traveling or in or around camp. There's no setup and no pack up. If you use Starlink as much as we do, setting up and packing up the dish sort of did become a bit of a pain, and I love not having to do that anymore. It's just mounted up there with a power source ready to go all the time. Having it while we're in motion is fantastic as well. It works just as well in motion as it does when we're stationary. So not just for the kids' entertainment in the back seat, but even just for us for safety and security while we're traveling, particularly in remote areas, but also for keeping up to date with things like navigation and weather. All these sorts of things become so handy when you don't have to wait for coming through a town or coming into service to be able to look things up or to get updates. So that's been really, really good as well. Overall, having had it now on the car, I wouldn't ever install it permanently or even semi-permanently on a Caravan. The biggest drawback to the biggest drawback to Starlink really in general is that the physical obstructions from trees and the like, buildings, whatever it might be, from impeding its vision of the sky is the number one thing that's going to affect its performance. And if you're like us, you want to be able to pick your campsite based on where's a nice campsite, not necessarily where you're free of obstructions from tree branches and things. So having it on the car, at least we can move the car much more easily around into a clear area where we're going to get a good vision of the sky for the Starlink. One of the big drawbacks though to having it up on the car is if one of us takes the car and the rest of the family is staying at the campsite, or if Liz has taken the kids somewhere and I'm staying back to do some work or something like that, the internet goes with the car. There's a pretty simple solution to that. It really just involves having a second power supply cable for it, which is something I really need to get around sorting out for us. But ours is relatively quick to remove from the roof rack. If I could just get a second power supply, we could pull it off the roof and just put it out on the ground or whatever it might be if the car's going somewhere and we need internet. So look, all in all, for us and the way we travel and the amount that we use internet, having it installed up on the car with that permanent power supply to it has really just leveled up Starlink completely for us. I really would highly recommend it. I'd definitely do it again. The only thing, like I say, is I would just have a second power cable and power source for it, so that if I did want to leave it at camp, I could do that. And then I think you've got the perfect all-round power Starlink and internet solution. So yeah, so hopefully that answers all those questions. If you've got any more questions about Starlink Mini or Starlink in general, leave a comment in the description below and I'll do my best to get back to all of those. But yeah, overall, highly recommend it.
All right, so people always ask us after 5 years of traveling, are we done with traveling Australia? No, we still have so many places that we want to go back to and so many new places that we want to explore. So the plan for 2026 is very loose. It's very loose. But the general gist is Outback, South Australia, which we think is probably one of the most underrated places in the country. So lots of Flinders Ranges content coming up your way. I really like, whether Simon wants to or not, that's where I want to be. And then back into the NT, and we really want to just dive right into that region because there's so many nooks and crannies there that we really only just scratched the surface of in 2021 when we were there. This time we just want to deep dive into that region. We have so much unfinished business in the Red Centre, and then we want to be in the Kimberley early in the dry season, so really early crossing across the Gib and just taking some tracks that maybe you might not have heard of before and really pushing, you know, where we can go and how we can get there and just seeing what's possible and where that road takes us. So I'm really actually very excited about going back to some places that are really familiar to us, but then also just discovering those new ones that when you go on your first trip, it's almost just like a recce and you're like, oh my gosh, our list is just getting so big. So that's what's coming up in 2026. If you've got any recommendations, if you've got any hot spots, we would absolutely love to know about them, particularly if they're hard to find, like station stays and things like that that are not particularly well advertised. Please let us know. If they are a secret and you want to keep them a secret but would still like us to come, just let us know and we'll just share what there's out there and then let people find it for themselves.
All right, so we got an really interesting question, a really thought-provoking question on our Instagram from Awesome Anto. I assume it's a guy, I hope so. And yeah, he asked us, what does the term pioneer mean to us now compared to when we first started our YouTube channel? And has our definition of a successful lifestyle changed? I would say our definition of a successful lifestyle changed before we started traveling and started YouTubing, and that was kind of the catalyst for us starting to travel and starting to do YouTube. We'd worked our ass off like most people through our 20s and early 30s, and we reached a point where we were relatively successful. We both had great jobs, stable jobs, good income. I hated my job, or became, not always, but I got to the point where I hated my job. I dreaded going to work every day, and a shift was needed, a change was needed. And in fact, the shifting of our definition of what successful lifestyle looked like was what led to exactly what we're doing now. To go back to the start of the question though, has my, I guess answering for myself, has my definition of what a pioneer, or what it means to be a pioneer, or why we call ourselves the lifestyle pioneers, has that changed? And I would say no. I mean, but yes, at the same time, I still think pioneer is to forge your own path, is basically why we chose that name, and what it means to us to be a pioneer is to not follow in everyone else's footsteps, forge your own path, take risks, try new things, and just see where things lead. And that's still very much our mantra to this day. And I guess it's changed though in the sense that when we first started out, it was to try a new lifestyle for ourselves, and to be pioneers to us, just in that sense. Not that it had never been done before, or that it was a new concept by any means, but just for us, we were pioneering a new lifestyle. Yeah, I guess these days it's more about where we go and how we do it, and the gear we take. We're driving a 76, my dream car. We've got this awesome hybrid Caravan, and so in that sense, I guess it's different to what the majority of people are doing with going down the path of bigger and bigger caravans and American trucks and MPS trucks and all that kind of stuff, which is, I've got nothing against that. It's bloody cool, but it's just this innate desire to just try and do things differently, or looking at different solutions to the problem, and just doing things a bit differently. So that's, I guess, how I feel like these days we're pioneering more. I'd love to hear your thoughts. It's an interesting term, pioneer. Like, I think some people think that we think we're like doing things for the first time and no one's ever done it before us. It's not how I look at it at all. It's really just that doing something a bit different, and not just following the status quo, and going along and just forging your own path, whatever it is, I think is very, very rewarding, especially when you pull it off and you end up doing something a bit cool and a bit different to what you might have seen before. So yeah, I guess it was a really, really interesting question, so I appreciate the question, and let us know in the comments below your thoughts.
All right guys, that's it from us from this week. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. It really makes a huge difference to us, and it's absolutely free for you. Next week, we have got some of the best free camps that we've ever stayed at, and the best national park, I'm calling it hands down, that we have ever visited. It just absolutely blew my mind. You do not want to miss that, as well as I really want your opinion on that track. I think, oh my goodness, it was insane. Stick around, you don't want to miss it. Jump over to our website or click that QR code and link down below to grab those tickets for the Pioneer Party. We cannot wait to see you there, and we'll see you next Sunday.
I think it's time for me to go, burn all bridges. All I know, I got lost along the way, fell between the foam, pulling stitches.